Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, October 16th. It's Friday in the 28th week in Ordinary Time, but it's also, we have two optional memorials today. The first is St. Hedwig, and the other is St. Margaret Mary Alacoque. And every once in a while, this happens on the liturgical calendar where we get two wonderful saints on the same day. So, um, for whatever reason, I think maybe because it's Friday, I decided to focus on St. Margaret Mary Alacoque. So, before I talk a little bit about her, um, I remind everyone that we are still celebrating our normal schedule on the weekends. So, on Saturday afternoon, starting at 3 o'clock, there's confessions at St. John the Baptist until 3 to 4:15, and then Mass at 4:30. And then on Sunday morning, there's confessions at St. Michael's at 8 a.m. to 8:30, and then Mass at 8:45, and then Sunday Mass at 10:30 here at St. John the Baptist. So please help in letting everybody know that we are back and we are celebrating Mass. And we've been doing it for a few months now, but every once in a while I hear that people aren't sure that we are celebrating Mass. So hopefully we can continue to spread that word in whatever way that we need to. As I mentioned, today is the optional memorials of either St. Hedwig or St. Margaret Mary Alacoque. St. Margaret Mary Alacoque is known mostly for spreading the devotion of the Sacred Heart. So I'll talk a little bit about that. But she was born in 1647. She's from France. A couple things one of the things I learned is that her baptismal name was Margaret. I didn't realize that because she joined a religious order. She joined the Visitation Sisters. She became a Visitation nun and added the name Mary when she became a novice, and that's why she's Margaret Mary. So she joined them. Everything she had a little bit of a struggle when she was first in the novice program because she was kind of spiritually advanced beyond some of the prayer techniques that they were asking the novices to do. And so that was a little bit of a challenge for her. It didn't sway her vocation at all, but it was, she was kind of spiritually ahead of probably the other novices. But it's interesting, and she's starting to get kind of these. She says she was aware of our Lord as a sort of sensible presence, often is crowned with thorns, and she seemed to be directed by his voice. So she would take on humiliations and mortifications, and I love this description from Butler's Lives of the Saints. These humiliations and mortifications she found in the work she was assigned to do in the convent. Um, she's described as she was slow and clumsy, and perhaps rather absent-minded. She annoyed the infirmarian when working as her assistant, and was treated with scorn and ridicule as a result. In due course, she was professed, and as she wrote, our Lord was pleased to accept her as his bride, but in a way that she felt herself incapable of describing. And so it's shortly after she is fully professed that she has these messages from our Lord about promoting the spreading the love of the Sacred Heart, making it known throughout the world. And she has this experience where the Lord takes her heart, places it within His, and then returning it to her, but burning with divine love. So she, over the next about year and a half, she gets the messages of how to promote this devotion to the Sacred Heart. So it says that the Sacred Heart was to be depicted as a heart of flesh. She and others should make reparation for the coldness and insults our Lord received in return for his love. A special feast should be established on the Friday after the octave of Corpus Christi. Faithful Catholics should receive communion on the first Friday of each month and should spend an hour in prayer every Thursday evening in remembrance of his sufferings in Gethsemane. And probably many of us are probably familiar kind of with that 9 First Fridays devotion, or even kind of a First Friday devotion really kind of traces its way, I think, back to or was popularized by St. Margaret Mary in this Sacred Heart devotion. Um, Believe it or not, as she tries to spread this in her convent, not all the sisters are receptive to that. I think we see that throughout. And it's not until St. Claude de la Colombière, he's assigned as the confessor for the sisters, and so his relationship with St. Margaret Mary, um, his writings really help in spreading this. And then later, she becomes assistant to the superior and also the novice master. And she has great success there, and especially in promoting this devotion to the Sacred Heart. So even though devotion to the Sacred Heart really doesn't begin with Margaret Mary, it's one of those things where, in its kind of modern popular form, she was instrumental in bringing about that devotion. So it's a great devotion, and I kind of thought, since it's Friday, it makes sense to celebrate Saint Margaret Mary. And so she took ill in October of 1690, and died while she was being anointed, and then she was canonized in 1920. So on this Friday, when we remember the Passion of our Lord, it's good to also to remember the Sacred Heart, and to remember Saint Margaret Mary Alacoque, and the Lord using her to promote this devotion. So hope everyone has a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. And we'll continue to look out for each other. Let's continue to pray for each other, and pray that through the intercession of St. Margaret Mary Alacoque, God will greatly bless you this day. Have a great day, everyone.